Hey, today I'm talking about 3 recent Japanese language films, all by this director. And the names of those 3 movies are Monster, Shoplifters, and The Third Murder. First up is Monster. This is a 2023 film, and the basic premise is there is this single mother who is struggling to take care of her young son. In particular, because there seems to be some sort of bullying situation going on at school that may be emanating from a teacher. The movie's so good. It's ridiculously good. Especially because, it's just such a wild story, but also still feels very true to life because it's really about we never know truly all the information from a situation. We more or less see the same story play out kind of 3 or 4 times, all from different perspectives. So from the mom's perspective, the teacher's perspective, from the kid's perspective, and some other people in the situation. And it's each situation we'd be like, oh, okay, this is how it's played out. It's clear that this is what all the information adds up to. I don't know how anyone else could see any other perspectives. And then we go to a different perspective and it's so wildly different, but it's still believable why the other people would believe what they believe. And then on top of that, the whole film is really just a mystery about what is going on, and they did such a fantastic job of giving us little bits of information, a steady stream of it, but yet they wouldn't answer all the questions, and every time they answered a question they asked more, and it was just so fantastic. It's really about what is truth. And it was just so interesting too, how my opinion of everyone in the story just constantly changed. And then without spoiling anything, the end is so beautiful and fascinating and definitely open to interpretation too. I assumed we'd kind of get concrete answers by the end, and we do know a lot of stuff by the end, but I definitely think there's a lot of room for interpretation of what exactly happened at the very end. I think there's a lot of different ways to dissect exactly what happened, and I like that. I think that was a good choice. When the film is about what is truth, to not give us definitive answers is the right choice because we just can never know. Make our own truth. The movie's also about loving yourself for who you are, despite the negatives of what other people think about you. I wrote that down specifically thinking about one character, but then the more I thought about it, I realized it really applies to everyone. Every single main character in the film has other people talking shit about them, but they still have to speak their truth. They still have to believe in themselves. They still have to move forward. And they can internalize the negatives that other people thought of them. Sometimes it's rightly justified, but other times it's really not. So how do you navigate all that stuff? And that's just such an interesting conversation in and of itself. So yeah, no, this is a fantastic film that I really truly loved. It's such a unique, interesting story told so incredibly well. So yes, I loved it to pieces and I would highly, highly, highly recommend it. Next up is Shoplifters. This is a 2018 film, and the basic premise is there is this group of poor people who have banded together and one day find this little 4-year-old girl who is clearly abandoned outside, and they decide to help her even though technically that's kidnapping. It's really a slice of life story about what it means to be family, and it's so beautiful and so interesting. It's just their daily struggles of trying to get by, and it's just a random collection of people. I won't say exactly what their relationships are because part of the film is discovering how these people are connected and in what ways. And so that's just fun to see. And they definitely are morally gray people, but their heart is definitely in the right place. Especially when it comes to both the kids. There's 2 kids in this. The adults in this really understand how to show love and care for these other people who definitely need it, but they also have their own demons that they're fighting through and are definitely making mistakes, but they understand the importance of unconditional love that children need and aren't afraid to give themselves to that. I will say the one moment that really truly broke me is, so the little girl, she doesn't talk a whole ton throughout most of the film, but especially in the first half. And there's a moment where there's a bath being taken and one of the adults notices she has a burn mark on her forearm. It's clearly from abuse, but then the adult, who was also abused as a child, had has the exact same burn mark on her. And so the little girl finally really truly felt seen, and she tried to help the adult with her burn mark. And it was just so beautiful, like to finally feel not alone, especially in your pain, that your pain is not a singular experience, that it has been experienced by others, and that they can relate to you and help you through your pain. Like, god damn, that is so beautiful. It's something that I wish everyone who's suffering could realize, that they're not alone. God, yeah, no, it's just a brilliant piece of writing. And what's so interesting too about the film is that they're definitely all taking advantage of each other in different degrees. Again, I won't say specifics to spoil it, but despite there being love between everyone, they all are trying to get something out of each other. But just because of that, does that really diminish the love that they share? Because they do have these really beautiful moments together, and it does seem like they really truly care for one another. It's just, there's also the side angle to everything. So what does that mean? Yeah, no, it's so interesting. It definitely asks a lot of really fascinating questions, especially in regards of what does family mean? Because, like, you know, the little girl's actual family are very abusive. So yes, this group is taking advantage of her, but they're also trying to help her and giving her the love that she needs. So, like, yeah, it's fascinating moral questions. So again, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie and would totally recommend it. It's a very beautiful, really interesting film. It is very slice of life, so you do have to be prepared for that, but as long as you can accept that, it's a great film and is totally worth a watch. And lastly is The Third Murder. This is a 2017 film, and the basic premise is this guy was convicted of 2 murders back in the day. He has served his sentence and he's been out free for a couple years, but he's now being charged with a 3rd murder. So it follows his lawyers as they're trying to decide what their argument for this murderer is. And really the whole thing is about what is truth, because the murderer guy constantly lies. He constantly shifts his story. He's constantly just bullshitting. Like, if someone suggests an idea to him, he's just like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And then the next time they come around, they'll say something different. He'll be like, no, that's exactly what it is. I never said the other thing. What are you talking about? So it is just about what is truth. And I definitely found it interesting, especially the relationship that the villain had with a young woman, especially because it's not exactly clear what their relationship is, because she also has shades of just bullshitting all the time. But that being said, I had problems connecting to the movie, mostly because everyone was just lying so much, and because there was so much lying, it made it hard to care about what anyone was saying, because it all just felt like such bullshit all the time. I do think it's a good story. I just really struggled with it. I still liked it. I still thought it was fine. It was middle of the road to me, but it wasn't exactly my jam. Would I recommend it? I would say if it seems interesting to you, go for it. But this is not a blanket recommendation for me. It's more of a cautious recommendation. I don't think this film hits the heights of the director's other ones, but it's not bad either. It's fine. It's all right. So yeah, it's just a cautious recommend. Alrighty, now for today's rankings. First up, we got Monsters sitting at number 14 in the really like section. And then after that is Shoplifters sitting number 26, again in the really like section. And then bringing up the rear is The Third Murder sitting at number 72 in the liked section. And this is out of a total of 117 old movies so far this year.